Thank you, James. Trying to end the 24-7 angst of a 3-6 December. The Maple Leafs look for a reset tonight as they host the Phoenix Coyotes at the Air Canada Centre. Mike Johnson between the benches.
So much attention being paid to David Clarkson right now. He signed the big contract, but he was really brought in for moments like this. When the team is struggling, when they need a leader, they need a big game out of a big-time player. Not necessarily just with a goal or an assist, but just someone to play the right way, help them lead them out of this slump that they are in. He's feeling the heat, but tonight would be a great time for him to have a solid game, try to get the Leafs a win.
Toronto 5 losses in 6 games, 10 in their last 13, and it's been a busy stretch of games. This is their third in 4 nights, and their 6th game in 9. They'll start Nazem Kadri along with Phil Kessel and James Van Riemsdyk up against Antoine Vermette, David Moss, and Mikhail Boedker. James Reimer is in goal. That's a little bit against the form chart that we've seen from Randy Carlyle this year. Jake Gardner's on the ice as well as Vermette tracks back in his own zone. Different Phoenix Coyote team, known in the past to be so stingy defensively. Their offensive numbers might better than their defensive numbers so far this year.
That is not. I think Dave Tippett would prefer to have a tight defensive team and just rely on a little bit of goal scoring. They don't want to run and gun, and they're not really built that way with their personnel. They might have a little bit of underrated skill at the forward position.
Here's Buffalo native Tim Kennedy into the zone. He's on the top line with Martin Hanzal and Radim Vrbata for Phoenix, a line that has struggled of late. Derek Morris back in the lineup, and that tip just rolled wide of the net. Phaneuf in behind the goal with a collision that opens it up for Carl Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson out to center. Leafs changing in behind him, and Morris, the veteran, back for Phoenix. Derek Morris and Rusty Kleslup in the lineup for the Coyotes. That gives them 1,600 games of experience. Out of the lineup, Zbynek McCulloch and David Schlemko, both injured against Montreal. Here's Nikolai Kulemin. It'll be batted in at the line. John Michael Lyles in for Mark Fraser tonight. And here is the dangerous Mike Ribeiro. Jay McClement able to move it around, and the Leafs will break out. Looking to Clarkson, a nice pass in the middle to Kulemin. His shot knocked down. He gets his own rebound and plays it in behind the net. Sent up the boards. Back into Leaf territory where Cody Franson has it. Left wing feed, and there's Gardner sending it in. Peter Holland is on the ice. Out there with Joffrey Lupul and Mason Raymond. Michael Stone sends it around. Franson fires it across. It'll be Lupul inside the line, losing the puck. And here comes Jeff Halpern over the line with Klinkhammer shooting it wide. On this near side, it's spun back in by Jordan Schwartz. As excited as any Coyote about this game. Burlington native, just his 18th NHL game, but he mentioned this morning this #1 as far as he's concerned. The former member of the Saginaw Spirit playing close to home against the team he cheered for as a kid. Here's Holland. Nice pass and a shot. Mike Smith's first save on that test from Lupul. Vermette gathered the rebound, and now out comes Oliver Ekman-Larsson. One of the best young defensemen in the league. Dispatches it into the Leaf zone. There's Reimer with a little flip up off the glass. Neatly done, and the Leafs will bounce it down the ice, and icing being waved. Handle back along with Morris. That's knocked down and centered in front, and Smith with a big stop on a redirect as D'Amico took the shot. Phoenix had a good start the other night in the loss against Montreal. They outshot the Canadiens 15-3 in the opening period, led 1-0. It was only the brilliance of Carey Price that kept the Canadiens in the game until they rallied for the comeback win in the third period. Fans like the way the Leafs have started. Here's Kennedy dashing in for Phoenix. He'll give it to Vrbata. Fired in a slump. Big Hanzal in behind the net. He's tracked by Dion Phaneuf. Martin Hanzal spins it back to the near side. Kennedy on it again. Takes a bump from Gunnarsson. There's Kadri in his own zone. Now it's Kennedy trying to come out in front, and Reimer is down, and he will cover up.
Mike Smith, the most important player for the Phoenix Coyotes, one of the best puck-moving goalies in the league, but gets a little aggressive here, and you do this at times where he'll invite contact to try to seal out the forechecker physically. Eventually turns it over, and it very quickly comes back to him. Here's a good chance. D'Amico goes backdoor to Bodie, and what a save that was by Smith. Didn't get it with his pad, his glove sitting on top of his pad. But that's somewhere you can maybe get into Mike Smith's head a little bit, bumping him and getting into his hands when he's trying to play the puck. He does not like to be touched.
That puck ends up in the equipment of John Michael Lyles.
Right in his neck.
And so they'll do it all over again. Max Pacioretty bumped Mike Smith in the game the other night and got a penalty for it. The fans got on Smith the rest of the game.
Smith, you could give Pacioretty a penalty there, but Smith for diving as well. No question, he embellishes that contact he had with Pacioretty the other night.
Here's Morgan Riley. Up ahead off the ski to McClement and dumped in by Nikolai Kulemin trying to center it. That hit Stone. And picked off, and the Coyotes will work it ahead. Michael Stone from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And there's Gilbert Brulé back in the lineup for Phoenix. His first game of the year, first game in 2 seasons. Coyotes looking for a little more offense up front in the absence of their captain, Shane Doan. That playoff series a couple of years ago against Chicago, Brulé gave them a little bit of offensive boost. He'll play it in. Jake Gardiner after it for the Maple Leafs. Mason Raymond out. Along with McClement, they tried to give and go, and Verbata broke that up. Now Yandel onto the right wing. Verbata to the red line. He'll send it in, and Dave Tippett giving this first line a lot of work in the early going. Here's Yandel, a shot, and that's off Reimer. A lot of offense from the blue line in Phoenix. Only Boston and Ottawa more goals from their blue liners than the Phoenix Coyotes.
Out of beside their goalie Mike Smith, that really is where their stars lie in Yandel and Ekman-Larsson.
Hansel after it against Phaneuf, who gave him a cold shoulder, and Hansel went down. Puck at the line, and it does come out. Battle there along the boards with Chipchura and Lupul. And now it's Gardiner to the red line, firing it in wide. Here's Ekman-Larsson. Does a lot of things subtly well, doesn't he? Number 23.
It's just so smooth out there. Looks like he's barely trying. Everything's effortless. So smart.
Here's Kadri on the move with Kessel following up. Kadri will swing in behind the net. Play it back to Gunderson. His shot knocked down in front. Looks like it hit Van Riemsdyk. Kadri's got it again off the side of the net. Alpert after it, and he'll play it to Ekman-Larsson as the Coyotes try and slow things down.
Slow down is JVR coming off the ice right now. He is limping. Shake off that Gunderson shot that he blocked.
Here's Ekman-Larsson to the red line. Sent it in, knocked down nicely there by Riley. Played past Kulemin down the ice. Smith out to do some stick handling. It's what he does so well. We saw Brodeur last night. Mike Smith tonight. Anybody better than those two?
Oh, and Mike Smith can put a little something on the puck when he wants to shoot it as well.
Well, he's got a goal this year, and there's a stop by James Reimer. He'll hold on. There's Phaneuf on Hansel.
One center now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A lot of attention being shined on him and his line, and give you a little glimpse of what he can do. Maybe the best one-on-one player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A little subtle inside-outside move. Takes Connor Murphy wide, that hits Gunderson on the delay. That in turn hits James Van Riemsdyk. But that's the kind of skating that the Leafs need out of Nazem Kadri, because when he moves his feet and doesn't rely solely on his hands, he becomes that much more effective.
You like the start, Mike?
And I tell you what, down here, Chris, lots of pace on both sides. I mean, everyone's talking about the pressure the Leafs are under, but the Coyotes are also starting to feel it a little bit. Lost 2 in a row and out of the playoff picture right now in the difficult West. They think they need a win here and in Ottawa before they head to the back West.
Really no margin for error in the Western Conference, and as you mentioned, the Leafs have been under siege the last week or so for their playoff, except for the game against Chicago on Saturday night. They've gone from maybe their best home game to their worst against the Florida Panthers the other night. Brule playing it to the far side, and there's young defenseman Connor Murphy unable to reach it against Morgan Riley. Two of the best young kid defensemen in the NHL. Mason Raymond's got it. Trying to duck away from a check of Yandel, plays it in behind the net. There is Holland. Line mate was headed off, and now Raymond unable to come up with it, and Phoenix will break out. Led by Yandel. Likely to be on the U.S. Olympic team. Brule fires it right on, and the rebound collected by Raymond. A little room to move on his wrong wing. Mason Raymond tried that spin, and he corkscrewed himself into the ice.
Derek Morse wasn't having any of that. Didn't bite on the initial fake to the inside so that he wasn't victimized by the spinorama attempt.
Gardner back to Franson, and a return, and Jake Gardner, who spent some time on the bench in that Florida game, heads it up ice, had a meeting with the coach, and they talked about the mistakes that got him into trouble against Florida. Randy Carlyle this morning talked about individual mistakes, trying to stress some of the good things the team's done, and that the breakdowns are just individual errors that he feels can be eliminated. Tonight's game plan brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
For the Coyotes, they think they're playing well, but not quite at their peak, and they think they're going to be more efficient, harder around the net, the defensive zone, but especially in the offensive zone. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, you talked about individual breakdowns. It's not a systemic thing lately. It's just been bad decisions at the wrong moment, the wrong place. And if they just clean that up, they think they'll clean up their goals against.
Low shot period, 3 for the Coyotes, 2 for the Leafs as we approach the midway mark of the opening frame. Phoenix with 6 consecutive wins against Toronto. That's their longest streak against any franchise in the league in over a decade. Hansel took a shot, knocked down, and Clarkson hits the deck for Nook. Takes down Kennedy. Urbata trying to get it back. One of the best scoring threats for Phoenix, but Radim Urbata without a goal in his last 6. Here's Kennedy. And Hansel leaned on again. Gets it to the point, Stone across. Here comes the shot, a blocker saved by Reimer. McClement spun off the hit. Klesla trying to hold it in. And now Hansel backed him up, but away goes McClement. Over the red line, wants a change, and decided not to send it in deep. Gunnarsson popped up in the rush. Trying to give him that option. Here comes Botner, great pass, Vermette across, lost a shot, he missed the target. Dangerous rush chance for Phoenix at the side of the net. Play by Nazem Kadri to take it away, and now he'll head north. Here's Kadri through center. Gets double team taken down, and Smith tried to hold on. Puck popped loose, but he gets a whistle nonetheless as we pass the midway mark of period number 1 in Toronto. So it is James Reimer tonight, not Jonathan Bernier, who has some history against Phoenix, and it's pretty impressive. The Coyotes surprised they're not facing Bernier. Were you surprised, Mike, and do you think his outburst after the game in Pittsburgh may have got him another start, or the game against Florida?
I think so, because the pattern seems to have been if you lose a game, then you're likely to be replaced by the other goaltender in Toronto, and Jonathan Bernier's numbers have been great against Phoenix, but James Reimer is such a likable guy, so calm. For him to show some emotion after the game might be part of the reason why Randy Carlyle wants to put him back in there and say to the rest of his team, boys, look, you got the nicest guy in the league upset, you played so poorly in front of him. How about you go have a good game against the Coyotes for him?
Randy Carlyle called it shinny. James Reimer had a different word for it. But he does get another chance here tonight. Kessel streaking in. And a hot shot kicked out there by Smith. Mikhail Bottker will turn, the former Kitchener Ranger. Up to Vermette, curling away from Franson, right in front of Mike Johnson.
Fran's got to keep a stick down there, almost coming in the midsection.
No penalty for that, though.
Should be.
Hansel fires it in on Reimer. There's Ekman Larsson jumping up. Gets the puck for Phoenix. Was looking for Verbata. Chopped away from him. And now James Van Riemsdyk had Kessel wide open. And he missed the pass. And now Smith will fire at the length of the ice.
Nothing wrong with that pass either. He had to put it there to get it inside Morris. Would have been better a little bit further in front of Kessel, and Riemsdyk put it right where he had to.
Darren Drager mentioned that line has not been very productive of late. Kadri and Riemsdyk are -8 in their last 6 games. Kessel -7. Only 3 goals for the line in that span. But they look like they're on their game tonight. They're getting closer. Kyle Chipchura's got it. Rink wide. And there is Jordan Schwartz playing it back. Former teammate of Brandon Saad with the Saginaw Spirit. And it's Yandel upended by David Clarkson. Schwartz lets it get by him. Now inside the line, it's an offside called with 8:06 left in this opening period.
He talked about how smart and smooth Ekman Larsson is, and you see a great decision right here. Going against Phil Kessel, he's not as fast as him. Sees he can't get him. Where does he go? Right back to the middle. Doesn't try to pitch him off the boards. Creates the angle necessary for himself by getting to the middle and then closing out wide. If he tries to go out wide initially, Kessel beats the puck and takes it all the way in net. A very subtle positional decision, but the right one and a good one by Ekman Larsson.
Talked to Jim Playfair, the defensive coach of the Coyotes today, and he has asked Ekman Larsson to get in touch with Nick Lidstrom prior to the Olympics or during the Olympic break and get some advice on how Lidstrom approached the game to be able to play in the top Western Conference for 20 seasons and just actually think the game a little bit more and be able to, I guess, handle the duress as Reimer puts that up off the glass and onto the netting.
The challenge will be, because as great as Nick Lidstrom was, and unquestionably one of the very best, he played in an era where you're allowed to hold guys up, where you're allowed to use your stick a little bit more, and the game was not quite as fast as it is now. And so for Ekman Larsson, it's harder to avoid contact and get through games without having the wear and tear in your body just by having a good stick, playing on a good team and being good positionally, because of the way the game is played right now. And that's the adjustment Ekman Larsson's going to have to try to make, because he plays about 25 a night for the Coyotes.
Klesla bounced that one wide of the net. Rusty Klesla just called back up after 5 games in the American Hockey League. Here comes Riley. His shot, and he whipped it just wide. John Michael Lyles sends it toward the net. That was batted down by the veteran Klesla. Played his junior hockey in Brampton, and now back in comes Klinkhammer. He'll thread it through, and Brulé drove to the net, couldn't reach it. Raymond back. Peter Holland unable to collect that puck inside the line, and they'll regroup at center, and here's Raymond once again. 4-assist game in that win over Chicago. Holland after it in the corner. Ekman Larsson beat him to the puck. And Ribeiro will spin it back to the fine young defenseman. That pass knocked down by Kadri, and they'll have to try it again. There's Connor Murphy, and he hands it away. Kadri's on that. He's been busy in this first period. Nazem Kadri will cycle it back for Van Riemsdyk. He looks for Kessel in this corner. Back behind the net, nearly popped out in front, but Ekman Larsson stayed with Kessel, and the Coyotes flip it down the ice. Chopped away from David Moss. Held in, and there's Franson after. Yandel works down low. Botker reaches for it. Had it knocked off his stick by Franson, kept in by Vermette. Here's Antoine Vermette to David Moss, back to Vermette, and a pass is knocked down in front by Gardner. Fired back in by Morris, and Reimer's going to hold on.
Morgan Riley's had a nice week for the Toronto Maple Leafs as he finally was able to score his first goal in a beauty. Power play 1-on-3 all the way across. Wristed by Marco Murphy. And he also got the news that he will not be leaving the Toronto Maple Leafs. As you see Holland grabbing the puck like any good teammate. Everyone knows when it's somebody's first goal. Quick to get it and get it to the trainer. To get it to a plaque to put it on your wall. But it's been a week where Morgan Riley's got a lot of good news. He's sticking around and playing where he wants to, and that's with Toronto.
6th consecutive game for Riley. Here's Kuhlman in the zone. He maintains possession of the puck. Tracked there by Hansel. Kuhlman from the corner along with McClement. And now Kennedy will take over for Phoenix. Veteran Keith Yandel, 22 points on the year. Up ahead it goes, and Bravada plays it into center. Hansel over the line, drops for Kennedy. Buffalo native and former Sabre. And Hansel is stopped. Play continues with Gunnarsson. And Canuck getting things organized back behind Reimer. Well, it's tighter defensively tonight, Mike.
Well, I think that says something about where both these teams are mentally, knowing the importance of this game and trying to work their way into it. No one wanted to make that first mistake, and Phoenix has great emphasis on scoring the first goal of their team.
The Leafs have been better of late in limiting shots on goal. Out of that scrum, Phaneuf comes up with a puck. Onto the right wing, it'll be flipped in by Troy Bodie. Had that busy night with a couple of bouts in Pittsburgh. Bodie working along the end boards. D'Amico looked for the puck as it comes out in front. Franson finds it, sends it back into the corner. Jerry D'Amico is on it. Worked over there by Klesla. D'Amico goes down but kicks it loose. And it'll be played back to Franson. His shot! Pad stopping it! Scores! Troy Bodie has the goal of the Leafs. Strike first. Fourth line goal for the Leafs. And Bodie gets the icebreaker.
Fourth line kind of goal. Good hard work on the forecheck, puck control, tight puck support. It's okay to have three guys below the goal line. And then Peter Holland makes the play here. He sucks in. Kyle Chipchura gets so puck focused, loses track of Cody Franson and lets that wrister into the front of the net. And you see Chipchura there covering nobody in particular. And then the quick stick of Bodie able to squeak at 5-hole as hit. Bodie and D'Amico outnumber the Coyotes down in front of their own net. But the play's made on the half wall by Holland. Freezing Chipchura.
So a guy who fought a couple of battles for the team on Monday night is rewarded with a goal here against the Phoenix Coyotes. And you know it's been a while for Troy Bodie, the native of Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, because his last goal was scored against the team no longer in the league, the Atlanta Thrashers. Here's Mikael Boedker back in. Boedker at the line, and it's offside against Phoenix. But the Leafs have struck first here tonight. Troy Bodie has the goal for Toronto.
You mentioned how scarce offensive production on the fourth line has been for Toronto this year. And Troy Bodie gets his first. And all comes from good hard work along the goal line and then getting in the front of the net. And you see him get inside position. Jeff Halpern gets drifting out to block a shot. And that leaves D'Amico and Bodie 2-on-1ing Smith in front of the net. Bodie with a good backhand 5-hole. And that's exactly the kind of fourth line shift you want. In on the forecheck, physical, puck possession, and then nothing fancy. Just get it back to the point, battle in front of the net, and hope for a break. Troy Bodie did just that.
First goal is a Maple Leaf for Bodie, and we'll look down that list. There have been Colton Orr doesn't have a goal, McLaren no goal, Smithson without a goal. You go down the list of fourth liners. D'Amico playing there tonight scored his goal on the third line. Not going to get many out of that group, but it's a big boost when you do. The NHL on TSN is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
It's amazing what those goals will do too to alleviate some pressure off the top line, because when you're losing games, you're not scoring, nobody points to the fact that the fourth line's not scoring. It's all about what the first and second aren't doing. And so now Kadri's line can breathe a little easier. Holland's line can breathe a little easier knowing that they're getting some support.
Good breakout by the Leafs, started by John Michael Lyles. Here's Riley now leading the rush, shooting behind the net. Bumped there by Derek Morris. It's Mason Raymond who will take over. Holland on the cycle, but Ribeiro intercepts that and reverses it to Keith Yandel. Here's Morris up past Brule and out to center. Veteran Lyles on the ice, paired with Riley, the youngster. And Fraser not in the lineup tonight. Paul Ranger was back for the warm-up tonight as the Leafs had 8 defensemen in the warm-up prior to this game. Mike Ribeiro looks Rick wide and tracking back with Peter Holland, who mentioned this morning he thinks his 200-foot game has improved since getting to Toronto. And getting more ice time than he got in Anaheim. Mike Smith again dishing it off. Up comes Michael Stone. Red line and in. Hansel after it first. There's Kennedy who takes a look. Wanted to get it to Verbata. Gets it back. Tries to center it again, and Kuhlman works him over and then knocks it off Verbata's stick. Kuhlman gets dumped. And the first penalty of the game is going against Phoenix. So the Leafs open the scoring and get the first power play of the night as Radim Verbata heads off.
Verbata's going to go for tripping in behind the Leafs net. And it's some good defense. Active stick by Kuhlman there. He's trying to move away, and absolutely Verbata gets his stick caught up between Kuhlman's legs, and it's a nice defensive sequence for the Leafs though. Good coverage on their own end. Turn it over and draw a penalty with that good defensive coverage and get their power play a chance here.
Maple Leafs #1 at home on the power play, 4th overall, 32.1% at home against a Coyotes team that has struggled penalty killing, and it cost them the other night in Montreal when they gave up a pair of power play goals in a 3-1 loss. Face-off win by Phoenix, and that'll send the Leafs back into their own zone. That was another point of emphasis from Randy Carlyle this morning. In fact, the Leafs were 40% in the face-off circle against Florida, so they start 6 out of 10 times without the puck. .90 seconds remaining in the opening frame. Ranson and Phaneuf are on the back line as Phaneuf plays it in. And Riemsdyk, Kessel, Lupul up front. Jeff Halpern in a penalty-killing role along with young Jordan Schwartz. Puck will come loose to Franson. Leading power play man with a shot right on, and Smith will smother that as Van Riemsdyk jostles a little bit in front.
Already seen one goal created by Francis Rister from the blue line. The key to any power play, though, is outnumbering the opposition when you're battling for the puck. And James Van Riemsdyk and Phil Kessel do a good job of getting over in support. The puck gets moved in along the wall, in behind the net. Joffrey Lupul's over here by himself. He eats the puck. Now watch Kessel and Van Riemsdyk. They move their feet, hustle on in there, get tight support. The turnover, puck to the point, shot and chance because of their work to get tight puck support on the wall.
Antoine Vermette wins the face-off, and only Sidney Crosby has won more face-offs this year than the Coyotes penalty killer, wearing number 50. 1 minute left here in the first period. Leafs trying to enhance a 1-0 lead. Just under a minute remaining in the power play. Mason Raymond, watched by David Moss. Holds on, sets up. Riley and Gardner the point man. Jake Gardner looks for a shooting lane, dishes off, and now Kadri. Clarkson's in front, sitting on 99 NHL goals. It'll be Kadri. Raymond goes to the back door. Riley. Gardner, still no shot. Now Riley sends it across through the blue paint, and Raymond unable to convert. Back to Gardner. And Kadri winds and fires right on. Smith the stop. And he batted down by Gardner, but now cleared off the stick of Vermette, and that should do it here in the opening period. Riley runs out of time, whips it down the ice. The shots 8-5 in the first period of play in favor of Toronto. Troy Bodie, the goal scorer, 1-0 Maple Leafs after 20 minutes. As we head back to our studio, here's James Duthie. James, the Maple Leafs lead the NHL in hits, and they had 24 of them in that first period of play. Mike, Dion Phaneuf, the captain, led the way. He had 6.
It's an important game for Toronto, and when it's an important game, everyone in the dressing room, coaching staffs across the board looks to your leader, and that's their captain, Dion Phaneuf. And he came out in the first period and really established a tone for the physicality that the Leafs are going to play with in that first period. He was engaged, he was smart, not running around, but certainly finishing whenever he could. And when he finished with authority, knocking pucks loose and limiting time in their defensive zone. Exactly the way you need him to play all the time. So from the captain on down, a very good first period for Toronto, getting them that 1-0 lead.
There's the goal scorer. Troy Bodie, who opened the scoring for Peter Holland in the first period. And there will be 5 seconds remaining on a Leaf power play to start the second. Radim Vrbata in the penalty box.
And you ask Troy Bodie if the team gets excited, a little pumped up when guys like him score goals, because it doesn't happen very often. The answer is yes. When I was on the bench, you see a guy like that score a goal, it would get everyone a little bit more of a boost than if it was just a run-of-the-mill James Van Riemsdyk goal, which happened all the time. So that fourth line contribution is key for every team.
But the fourth line guys are usually understated. They don't want to take the credit.
No, they always want to soft sell and don't want to make it a bigger deal than it is. But everyone else realizes their contributions. In the other areas of the ice, happy when they get rewarded for a goal.
Just 5 shots for Phoenix in the first period and only 2 from forwards. So Dave Tippett will be asking for more. Puck down in the Phoenix zone as Vrbata gets set to return to the ice. There's Jay McClement along the boards. It's knocked away from him and up into the Leaf bench.
Key now for Toronto. Good first period. Did a lot of good things. Control the play. They have to sustain that energy. They can't have a letdown. You know Phoenix is going to come and push a little bit harder. And the Leafs have to be ready to take their game up as well to match the intensity for Phoenix.
Leafs in a stretch of 5 home games in 6. En route to the Winter Classic against the Detroit Red Wings. There's a good pass by Phaneuf, and Clarkson shot up high. Gets by Kuhlman, and Phoenix will sweep it out to center ice. The captain will dump it back in. And Smith out in a nice little move there that left Clarkson off balance. Smith is very adept with the puck, isn't he?
He is very smooth, and he finds he keeps himself in the game that way. He looks to play it.
Kuhlman at the side of the net. And he'll take over as Tim Kennedy will head off on a Phoenix change. And David Clarkson's wide open. Here's Clarkson firing it, and a stop by Smith, who will freeze it in the blue paint and hold on.
Part of the scouting report on Mike Smith is recognizing how good he is with a puck, and you watch him here in the pregame. Turns his glove hand over to get a little more leverage. Not like a regular stick, and you see him control, bouncing pucks, little fakes, throwing high sauces, puts it down quickly. He's working on this in warm-up because he knows when he gets in the game, he'll be doing just that, and he's had 8 touches of the puck. 6 of them have gone for breakout passes, so Coyote's taking full advantage of his unique skills with the puck.
Kingston native, who will have a lot of friends and family.
That's straight out.
Puck right out, and they're going to appeal that it might have tipped off.
Oh, I don't think so.
And Oliver Ekman-Larsson pleading his case, but I think he's going to lose it, and they are waving him off.
Yeah, Rob Martel coming over, and from down here, it didn't look like there was a stick within 10 feet of him. Right off the face-off, one draw, and nobody around him. I don't know who they're suggesting that might have hit. I guess Mason Raymond would be the feeble argument, but like usual, the referees make the correct call. Puck straight over.
So right back to the power play early in the second period for Toronto. And Lupul will take the face-off.
Antoine Vermette comes in so hard with that bottom hand. It's amazing how effective he is.
And Vermette has the puck now. Here's Vermette with a shot into the glove of Reimer, who wanted to drop it, but he'll have to hold on with 2 Coyotes around him and a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Antoine Vermette really is a perfect Phoenix Coyote kind of player. Very responsible defensively. Still has some offensive skills as well. Good 200-foot player. Dave Tippett kind of guy. And you watch him in the faceoffs, and he just blows through the faceoff circle, left hand low. And just too strong. There's so many draws for the Coyotes that way.
7th highest face-off win total in the last 7 years. So he's been doing it consistently for a long time and has 9 goals as well. And here are the Leafs moving in on the power play. Van Riemsdyk dropped. Dion Phaneuf moves up. Phaneuf sends it through the blue paint. Franson on the other side with tied for third in power play points. Cody Franson. It'll be Phaneuf across, and Franson back into the middle to the captain. Up high, it's Kessel. Look for Franson. Pass didn't get through, and now Franson upending Halpern, and that will be a penalty. The power play will be done for the Leafs.
Double whammy there for the Leafs as Franson is going to take the tripping penalty on Jeff Halpern. And he gets in that spot because the seam pass was picked off. It was wide open. If Kessel had released it quick enough, but right there, Halpern just steps on his blade as Franson's reaching back. Not much of a hook, but enough. And a little 4-on-4 hockey.
Four skaters aside for 57 seconds. Then we'll see the Coyote power play for the first time tonight.
A lot like Toronto, Phoenix relies on their power play for a good portion of their offense.
Vermette back out for this offensive zone face-off, but a win for Peter Holland on that draw. Holland at only 40% on the year, but just won a good one against one of the best in the league. Here's Holland nearly with a steal, but Coyotes up with it. Now Holland will play it back, and the Leafs will try and get organized. Up for Holland over the line. Drop back for Gardner, and he's in trouble now as Bottker's got a break for Vermette. Vermette goes to the net, and Gardner comes back to intercept. So the young defenseman recovers, and now headmans to Lupul. Across for Holland, digging down against Keith Yandel. Holland lost his footing, but Lupul's followed up, and now Riley in front of the net. And that pass deflected away from Morgan Riley. Mikhail Bottker, rink wide, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting set to return. Gardner will fire it down the ice, trying that bank pass for Jay McClement, now in a penalty-killing role behind the Phoenix net. Here's McClement, just under 4 minutes of night. Short-handed ice time for Toronto. Coyotes ranked 8th on the power play. They've been bottom 10 for 5 consecutive years. Have not been in the top 10 in over 15 years. Here's Guliman, shot with a blocker stopped by Smith. Guliman got his own rebound and placed it to the near side corner.
Not a coincidence that the improved power play has coincided with the arrival of Mike Ribeiro. He was as good as anybody in the NHL at quarterback in the power play.
Dumps it into the corner. Bravado went after it, but Gunnarson's up with it, and he'll send it 200 feet. Smith wanting to make one of those stretch passes. He'll defer and let Yandel go to work. Left side for Hansel. He'll send it around as the Leafs get back to full strength. Franson has returned. So no damage done by any of the 3 power plays tonight. The Coyotes an abbreviated one. Hansel tries to sweep it in, goes after it again, chops it through center, and David Moss will get control. Gil Bottker, who has 10 on the year for Phoenix, 8 of them have been on the road. It's starting to live up to the promise of a high draft pick out of Kitchener. Here's a rebound chance into the skates of Bottker, and a shot wide off the stick of Ekman-Larsson, and Bottker's got it again. Knocked off his stick, and sprawling to get it out is Raymond. Ekman-Larsson back in. Here he comes in wide. Worked over there along the boards by Smithson, and Mason Raymond rink wide. Here's James Van Riemsdyk. His shot off Vermette to the corner. He'll try and chase it down, and takes Connor Murphy out. Son of former NHLer Gord Murphy. Connor Murphy, a youngster who's got points in 3 straight games as a defenseman for Phoenix. There's Kadri to knock down a clearing attempt, and ends up onto the mesh. Leafs want another penalty, but it was deflected onto the netting.
Not much going on in either power play, but during the 4-on-4 opportunity, Keith Yandel does what he does all the time, and that's jump up in the play. He just has to rely on his forwards to realize it's Michael Bottker and Antoine Vermette going down on this 2-on-2. If Bottker realizes it, It's a 4-on-2. If he just stops up, look at Yandel banging his stick, all that room in behind Bodker, just lay it back there, and it'll be Yandel and Stone going in on a break on a 2-on-0. Didn't hear it, didn't realize it, missed the opportunity.
The other night in Montreal, it was 2-1 in the late stages of the game, and the Coyotes had a 4-on-1 break and did not convert for the tying goal in the last 30 seconds. A big defensive play by Josh George is there. Here comes Roulet, sitting in front. And no redirect. Yandel will send it back in, and it's picked off there by Riley. Pass for Lupul in his skates, and now chopped deeper by Mason Raymond. Shots are 11-7 in favor of Toronto. A low shot team here tonight. Here's Ribeiro, sending it in front, and it rolled past Roulet as he looked for the tip. And now Kessel streaking away. Took the pass nicely off the boards, but then got cut off at the pass. Good defensive play there by Murphy. Here's Jake Gardner, sending it wide of the net. And now Franson has to backpedal as Ribeiro will fire it in. Gardner for Franson. Kessel pushes it ahead. Kadri across, and Van Riemsdyk's away. Van Riemsdyk a shot, and Smith's got that with Van Riemsdyk crashing the net. Well, we saw that breakaway pass for Phil Kessel trying to get loose and get back to his offensive game here tonight against Phoenix. Here it's 1-0 Maple Leafs at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. 12-7 the shots on goal in favor of Toronto. Fewest shots allowed by the Leafs in a game this season, 22. But in the last 3 games, they've averaged 27 shots against Mike, so that's an improvement over the high shot totals. And of course, the Leafs have been last in that category all season long. About 36 shots a game against on average. Here's Tim Kennedy, but the play is offside at the Toronto line. Chance to remind you this Christmas Eve, the holiday tradition continues with SportsCenter Year in Review presented by PokerStars.net. Jen and Dutch count down the top 10 highlights, low light sound bites, and sports stories of 2013. Tune in this Christmas Eve at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN. And to underscore that the Leafs are doing it well defensively tonight, the Phoenix Coyotes, surprisingly, Mike, are 6th in the league in shots for. You wouldn't expect that, would you?
Phoenix is a much more offensive team than you'd think they would be, given their reputation. And this has been a nice job following them up so far.
Just 1 goal in each of their last 2 games, a couple of losses for Phoenix. Here's a play in front, is a jam by Clarkson, and it's still loose. Klesla can't find it, and it finally is knocked to the line and out. David Clarkson with a power move, which caused all kinds of havoc in front of Mike Smith. And now at center ice, altercation as Hansel went after Clarkson.
Stick up on McClement, then clip Clarkson with the high stick. David Clarkson showing a little flash of the kind of power forward game the Leafs are hoping for him to have. Good stop and start, loses Hansel, and then just takes it right to the front of the net. No point in looking for a better pass, look at someone to defer to. Just take it in there and start battling for position, and if you happen to bump into the goal on the way out, that's all right as well. David Clarkson continues to try to find the game that he had in New Jersey. Bring it over to Toronto.
We talked with Peter DeBoer yesterday about David Clarkson, and his old coach, who thinks so highly of him, talked about him as a streak scorer, a guy that can score 8 and 10 games and then go 15 without. But it was the coach's opinion that it's just human nature that a guy like Clarkson's feeling the pressure of expectation after signing the big deal. And not that he's his man anymore, but he just thinks David Clarkson should get back to that kind of thing we just saw, playing his style of game and not trying to be too fancy. Pass in front, Clarkson comes up with it, and right back to work. He'll chip it by Connor Murphy, but now peel off and head to the bench on a change. Stolen by Kadri. He'll swing it to the corner for Van Riemsdyk as they try and get the cycle going. Kessel in after it. And now good hustle by Kadri again. To the point for Franson. His shot deflecting. Knocked down by Murphy, who overskates it. And now is able to play it ahead. And Watker wants a change. He got a fortunate bounce, and Rapana with a knuckler that is stopped by Reimer after a strange hop off the stanchion that gave Rapana a chance.
And very few guys in hockey would know David Clarkson better than Pete DeBoer, and this is what David Clarkson's trying to deal with here, these kind of comparisons. And Clark MacArthur, clearly his time here in Toronto was done. Mikhail Grabovski's found himself a nice situation in Washington, but as a new player coming in, you can't help but make that same comparison in your own mind. And you know MacArthur's doing well, you know Grabovski's doing well, and you know you're not, and your team is struggling right now, and it just all starts to mount up, and you feel more pressure, and it gets harder to play.
Holland wave, Lupul in to take this draw against Hansel. And pulled back to the line, swiped back in by Morris, and the Coyotes tag up to get onside. Gunnarsson ahead, Holland to the attack. There's Peter Holland swinging it into Lupul's corner. Joffrey Lupul along the boards, puck loose, and Holland chips it for Raymond. Into the high slot and kept in at the point. Good play there by Gunnarsson, sending it to the side of the net. Now the Coyotes up with it and will send it to center. Verbata drops. Chipchura to Hansel. Now Chipchura moving on to this line. A little more weak up front. Usually a third or fourth line center. He's on the second line in Montreal and now takes a turn with Hansel and Verbata. And plays to the point. A shot by Yandel. Reimer not sure where it is. But fortunately for him, it's underneath. That panic look over his shoulder.
Where is it? Somewhere in there, inside his pad, down his knee. But that is the exact same play that the Leafs did when they scored their goal. And this time it's Peter Holland. He's supposed to be playing right wing. He gets caught staring at the puck and leaving his defenseman wide open in the center of the ice. He up that one-timer and a shot and a tip off Hansel's leg into the body of James Reimer. Fortunately get a piece of that one. Peter Holland's got to realize, Joffrey Lupul's down low, you're playing right wing. Keith Yandle's on the ice, that's your man. You got to be aware of where he's at.
Nearly a chance off that face-off as now Tim Kennedy has switched spots. He's on a line with Mike Ribeiro and Gilbert Brule. And here's Brule for Kennedy. He'll slide it in. Ribeiro goes after it against John Michael Lyles. Riley helps his defensive partner out, and now it's flipped ahead, and Kessel streaking down the right side again. Bad angle shot on Smith. Rebound, and it's Lyles in deep. It's Kadri behind the net. Kessel is in front. And now they'll play to the left point for Riley. To the side, it's loose in front. Van Riemsdyk got his stick hooked up and couldn't get onto the puck as he posted up in front of Mike Smith. Just feel like that top line for the Leafs is getting closer.
Phil Kessel is finding some space on the far side. One of these pucks is going to connect for a break.
But Montre back in, and his shot into the glove of Reimer, and he'll have to hold on. Just past the midway mark of the second period, James Reimer with his 10th stop of the night. That was one of the most dangerous.
Talk about the chemistry between James Van Riemsdyk and Phil Kessel. It has been evident throughout this season. They just know where each other are. And you see it several times this year. This game as James Van Riemsdyk is trying to find Phil Kessel wide on that far side. Kessel knows he can trust Van Riemsdyk to make the right play, and if it's not there, get it over the blue line, so he's able to blow the zone. And they've come close several times, and Kessel's feeling comfortable. One of these ones is going to connect on his stick, and he'll get it in full flight and have that rush shot that he's looking for. But so much of that requires trust by Phil Kessel that James Van Riemsdyk doesn't need support in his own end and will make the right decision with the puck to make sure it gets out.
Tyler Bozak still a ways away, but did skate this morning with the Leafs in a full practice. It'll be a shot from Derek Morris, and Kessel will collect that. some that say that Kessel has missed Bozak. The stats wouldn't necessarily indicate that. He has 8 goals in the 20 games without Tyler Bozak this year, which is just about the pace he has been on all season long. Nevertheless, obviously the Leafs would like to get Bozak back in the lineup.
I think where I met Nisco or Tyler Bozak is defensively, where his plus minus is not quite what it was with Tyler Bozak as it is when he's playing with Nazem Kadri.
Here's Butker working his way in. David Moss back to Butker. Couldn't get the shot through. By the way, David Moss, a cousin of Phil Kessel, and he's had family bragging rights, winning 5 of the 6 meetings between the two.
And you know he's going to use them if he can.
Tim Kennedy back, overskated the puck, and puts the play offside. Gives us a chance to check back in with James Duthie. Boy, those were some interesting comments from Paul McLean after the game we did last night in New Jersey.
I liked them. He didn't blame it on the refs. He put it all on his own team, which is the right place to put it. Challenging them to be better. Closed door meeting after the game, never a good sign. The center is trying to right the ship.
Amazing how many teams are in the same boat. Wins are tough to put together. You think about New Jersey and Ottawa were similar going into that game. Here's Hansel with the steal. Toronto and Phoenix, same thing. Both trying to bump slumps and no easy nights. Back it comes to Klesla. He'll wind and fire, and that changed direction. Off Clarkson, who went out there to block him. Gunnarsson wins the battle, gets it to McLennan, but not out, and it's wired back in, high and wide of the net. Rusty Klesla, and that's into the skates of Phaneuf. Ricochets to the line, kept in by Derek Morris. In behind for Big Hansel. He'll play to the point. Off the bench, comes into a shot, and that didn't miss by much. Into the corner, Kennedy, and a push here by the Coyotes, looking for the equalizer. Played to the side of the net. Gunnarsson tied up there by Verbatim. McClement checked by Kennedy. Tries to stay with it. Hansel knocks it loose. It'll be Verbatim along the end boards. He draped there by McClement. Hansel in after it. The Leafs are out of gas in their own zone.
Trying to get through a line change right now, too. Get some fresh bodies out there with the tired Leafs.
Hansel leaning on it again. There's Klinkhammer, who's come off the bench. Fresh troops have arrived. Verbata back. It'll be Morris now. A shot that doesn't get through. Now Verbata tries a bad angle shot, and he nearly found a little room, but Reimer able to squeeze it and hold it out.
I see some tired bodies heading to the bench for Toronto. As that 5 have been in their own end for about a minute, trying to work down low. But the key is when you get tired, Leafs did a good job of it there, is collapse, get down to the front of the net, give up the exterior shots, give up the point shots, just battle trying to seal off the front and let James Reimer see the pucks and make the saves. They did a good job of that, not running around like we've seen him in the past.
Peter Holland and Mike Ribeiro on that draw. Morgan Riley got it to Lyles up on the left side, too far for Raymond. Now cut off by Holland, and the Leafs get it out. Off the skate of Lupul, here comes Raymond. Back in for Lupul, knocked down in the slot. And a penalty is upcoming against Gilbert Brule. In his first game of the year, Brule is going off for hooking.
Penalty number 8, minor penalty for hooking.
Brule gets the hook, but the play's made by John Michael Lyles, jumping up in the play, adding the odd man rush. You see Lyles driving it deep, that sets up Lupul for the drop pass, and Brule gets caught on the wrong hip. Puts a stick in the midsection, knocks him down, easy call. At least gets to go to the power play.
Toronto 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. The second one was abbreviated by a lead penalty. It'll be Kadri, along with Raymond and Clarkson. Riley and Gardner to start. And it's kept in by Riley. Here's Connor Murphy, the youngster, in a penalty-killing role, along with the veteran David Moss, who sends it down the ice. Moss and Vermette, the first Penalty kill pair for Dave Tippett. Gardner at the wheel. And now into the skates of Riley, who chops it deep, and Kadri will go after him. Mike Smith out of the net. It'll be knocked down and kicked by David Clarkson in behind the goal. Up for Moss, and Moss on the second try ahead for Vermette. Here's Antoine Vermette. And what a move by Vermette, and he couldn't get the shot away. He was hooked in for the second time tonight. Elite power play is cut short, and Morgan Riley heads off.
That is a fantastic effort by Antoine Vermette there. At the end of a shift, wasn't sure if he had enough energy to challenge Morgan Riley, but he shows the strength and just gets inside his stick check a little bit, uses his free hand to shrug him off, and now Riley's in a bad spot, has to hook him on the hands to take the chance away.
Thought he was buying some time for Ekman Larsson to jump up, but
looked like he was just going to stop him up, and Riley would shove him the boards, but a couple shovel strides, get that left hand, clear the space in front of him, and he got the free track to the net.
So once again, four skaters aside, and Holland head-to-head with Ribeiro. And the faceoff went to Franson, and the Leafs are out. Peter Holland along with Joffrey Lupul. Lupul with points in only 2 of his last 13 games. They were big multi-point games, but nevertheless, it has been sporadic scoring for Joffrey Lupul, who has been fighting the injury bug. Here's Bodker ahead. Yandel in the rush, and it's cut off. And the Leafs have a break. Quick counter. Franson to the net. Cody Franson in front. Holland the second whack. Down to Smith, and somehow it stays out. And Holland looks skyward. What a chance on the turnover at center. Franson, Holland, and Lupul come up empty.
You hear the whistle right there, and Mikhail Bodker, simultaneous to that, watch him put his hand on this puck in the crease. He doesn't know the whistle's coming, and he is very fortunate that the whistle blew when it did, because that very easily could have been a penalty shot for Toronto.
Big stop by Mike Smith, who fielded many questions about the Olympic team this morning and was not tired about talking about it. He has embraced the opportunity to wear the maple leaf, and certainly a strong candidate to be one of the three. Unable to slow that one up behind the net. Just a dozen seconds remaining in the penalty to Brule, and then 46 seconds of power play time upcoming for Phoenix. Lead pass, and they keep trying to spring Kessel, but it's going to be an icing call. Well, the stats might not be overwhelmingly in favor of Mike Smith as a member of the Olympic team, but when you consider his body of work over the last 3 years, his case is strengthened.
You look what he's done over a period of time. You see the kind of excellence he's had in Phoenix. And Chris, we saw it firsthand a few years ago when he single-handedly beat the Chicago Blackhawks in that first-round playoff series, putting a team on his back in a big moment. And you can see why he is absolutely one of the 3, 4, 5 guys in final consideration for the 3 goalie spots in Sochi.
Good reach by Yandel to hold the zone, and now the Coyotes power play goes to work. Yandel a shot right on. Big rebound is gobbled up and taken away by Van Riemsdyk. Good speed, but Yandel with a quick close. Good defensive play. It looked like Van Riemsdyk was up to full speed there and might have had a step. Hansel across. Good pass, Ekman Larsson to Yandel. Those two the keys to this Phoenix power play. Verbata's the trigger man, and that shot missed by inches. Yandel at the right point. Dying seconds of the man advantage. Verbata unable to pull the trigger, now puts it to the net. Loose in front, and I think Kuhlman got a stick on it to knock it away, and back on the ice comes Riley. Ekman Larsson shot, and that was blocked in front and cleared. And now Morgan Riley with some speed, a race against Ekman Larsson, who got back in time. And Ekman Larsson takes a tough shoulder there from Kuhlman. Good hit by Nikolai Kuhlman on the fine defenseman Ekman Larsson. Now Chip Chura sends it in. Halpern pinned along the boards. Under 3 minutes left here in the second period. It remains 1-0 Maple Leafs. But here's a shot by Stone. And that's stopped by Reimer. Michael Stone with 7 goals on the year. One of the top totals among NHL defensemen. Back to the point for Klesla. He'll flip it through, knocked down en route. Klesla again chops at it. Halpern gloves it down. Former captain of the Washington Capitals worked over along the boards. And it comes free for Gardner. Looks up nice and now plays it to the goal scorer, Troy Bodie. Haven't seen much of that group in this second period. Bodie got it in, and now Phoenix back to the attack. Here's a pad stop by Reimer off David Moss. It'll be Kessel turning, and ahead goes Kadri back to Phil Kessel. Here's Kessel into the middle, shot blocked by Morris. Kessel will get it back, can't get it through. And it's cleared by Phoenix. And too far, that's an icing call against the Coyotes with 99 seconds left in the second.
Michael Stone has had a nice year, 7 goals for the Coyotes, and he takes his puck from Chip Chura, one-times it, and puts it down in between James Reimer, and 5 guys on the bench popped up thinking that one had got 5-hole. And from over here, it looked absolutely like it did, except that it just popped up in the air, and you can see the way that the Coyotes use their defensemen in the offensive zone. So much the offense rolls through them.
Shots now even at 16 apiece. Leafs continue to maintain the 1-goal advantage. Kadri looked for the pass, got it, then kicked it over the line and took a hit for his trouble. Keith Yandel ahead for Metz in the middle. Left side for Bottker, who had been moved to the right wing for the last few weeks. And back onto the left flank. And now loading up with Vrbata, so Dave Tippett looking for a late equalizer here, and Verbitt just put it wide. Ekman Larsson tried to bank it, and Reimer stops it right at the side of the net at the goal post.
James Reimer had to get back to his post quickly there as he got well out of his net to challenge the Vermette shot. But good motion here up top. Ekman Larsson slides down, wants to kick it right back to Vermette, and it's tipped wide. Ekman Larsson trying to bank that one in from behind the goal line. Reimer had to be quick to shut off the post.
So the 11th duel, Hansel and McClement. And from the scrum, the Leafs are up with it. Here in the final minute of the second period. Leneuf up ahead at center. Pass for Clarkson doesn't work. And turning with it is Kennedy. Little give and go here. Vrbata tried to get it back to Kennedy, and Clarkson was there defensively. Pushing it ahead, too far for McClement. Ekman Larsson in the final half minute. Hansel, Vrbata. And an offside is called.
Been a better second half of this second period for Phoenix. They think they got their game going now. Playing on the cycle, and we've seen Hansel and David Clarkson on a few times in this game, having some words, and that's Clarkson getting a little bit of Hansel's stick there, not happy about it. Hansel's a big guy, 6'6", and got an edge to his game.
Yandel firing it in on Reimer. And
that's not a whistle you want to take
no.
here. Really love that one and play it to one of your defensemen for the easy out.
Had a little trouble with that. May have bounced right in front of him, but it does set up this face-off. In the zone with 16.4 seconds to go. Clement on the ice. Phoenix has won 21 of 35 draws tonight. And they win another. Rapiro wins it cleanly. A stick is broken. That deflects in front. Loose, and it just squirts wide. Brule centers again. Franson trying to clear it. Leafs on their heels here as the clock winds down. Yandel a shot, and he missed the target, and that will do it. The Leafs barely escaped the period. Still leading by a goal. Now the Coyotes with a shot advantage, 18-16, but Bodie's goal stands up through 40 minutes as we rejoin James Duthie. even terms and win this game tonight, Mike, the offense likely may come from the defense.
You saw it pretty clearly at the tail end of that second period as Phoenix started gaining control. Pucks down low, and then they get it out to their point, and they're defensemen all across the board. Of course, you think of Yandel, and you think of Ekman-Larsson, but certainly Stone's got some goals. Derek Morris to shoot, and they have free reign in the offensive zone to move around, get creative, exchange positions, and so there will be lots of pressure on the wingers for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the defensive zone to make sure they do a good job not only getting in the shooting lanes, but also keeping track of the defensemen as they slide in and around the offensive zone. And Ekman-Larsson might be the most offensively gifted of all the defensemen, but if you look who counts on their offense and the defense the most, right there with Boston and Ottawa, third in the league. In stark contrast to Toronto, who's dead last. So that's something that was mentioned by Toronto between periods as something to watch out for here in the third.
Final 6 shots of that second period were from the Coyotes in the last 4:41, so there was a push, particularly that final minute. See how the third unfolds. The Coyotes might be the fresher team here. Again, the Leafs playing their 6th game in 9 nights. They did get yesterday off. That was a player's decision, Randy Carlyle confirmed this morning.
And listen, if you take that option, if you exercise, say, you know what, coach, we're going to take the day off, we'll just do morning skate and no practice, after having a disappointing game against Florida, you better come with a good effort, and they have tonight.
We anticipated that might have been a long scheduled day off for the Maple Leafs under the new CBA, but it was not the coach's decision, which was a little surprising considering. But giving the players the chance to have control of, and probably a wise decision, even the coach said a wise decision based on the heavy workload, to maybe give this team fresher lights here tonight in this third period. We'll tell that tale.
That's part of the challenge for all coaching staffs, how to juggle their desire to coach and work and the need for rest of the players, and trying to find that line is something that good coaches do. Talking to Joel Quenneville, he says that the mandatory days off he thinks are a disadvantage to Chicago because he always gave his team lots of rest, feeling that that was an advantage to the way he coaches. But now all teams are forced to do it, and a perceived advantage that he thought he had has gone away.
Nazem Kadri loses another face-off, and he has struggled, as has Peter Holland tonight. Both now 2 and 8 in the face-off circle. Vermette has been the best in that department, as he usually is. He's won 11 of 14 for Phoenix tonight. So that's one area that has not been cleaned up. Nevertheless, a lot of good things have been done by the Leafs tonight. And they have an important final period here to try and change the mood of December. Bill Kessel banks it to the line, kept in by Yandel. He'll send it wide of the net. Shoveled into the corner and around by Bottker. Vermette back to Yandel. Took a look across, it wasn't available, and now Holland comes up with it. Chopped off his stick by Vermette, held in by Klinkhammer, and now he loses it. And it's Van Riemsdyk ahead into the skates of Holland. The Leafs trying to get the changes. Now Kessel peels back. Van Riemsdyk stays on the forecheck. There's a pass cut off by Francis Lupul. A hot shot fought off by Smith. Dangerous chance there for Joffrey Lupul. Mike Smith with another stop. And Klinkhammer will roll it in and get a Phoenix change. Here's Cody Franson sidestepping the check of Ribeiro. Couldn't get it deep, knocked down by Stone, but right back on the stick of Franson. Ahead for Raymond. He is checked, and Ribeiro to the attack. Ribeiro into the middle, and Brule follows, and Reimer's got that. And he'll hold on as Gilbert Brule's had a couple of looks tonight.
Saved by James Reimer at one end, but just previous to that, Cody Franson makes the play here by stepping inside Klinkhammer on the pinch. Klinkhammer has to do a better job feeling the pinch, getting into the body and not letting him get that puck. And Mike Smith makes one save, other end. Gilbert Brule, who has always been able to shoot the puck. There's some other holes in his games, but shooting has not been one of them. Gets a pretty good look off a setup by Mike Ribeiro.
Holland against Ribeiro, and Ribeiro wins that draw. One of these face-off losses come back to haunt Toronto. Ribeiro has it knocked off his stick, and Raymond pushes it ahead. Here goes Lupul, and getting back quickly was Klesla. David Moss up for Ribeiro at center. He'll send it in. Moss goes after it. And John Michael Lyles reverses it. It'll come to Holland, and he'll bank the pass at center for Raymond. And that deflects into the Phoenix zone with Toronto changing. Ribeiro, who reminded me, Mike, was a member of Dave Tippett's crew in Dallas, so Tippett knew what he was getting, and a great offensive threat. He has had eight consecutive 50-point seasons last year. That stopped only because of the shortened year. He had 49 points in 48 games as a Washington Capital. Here goes Clarkson. David Clarkson over the line. Keeps going. Past Yandel. Knocked down by Hansel. They've had something going tonight. Hansel playing both ends of the rink, and Yandel skates out. He's been one of the best Coyotes. Look at him weave. Play it to Verbata. The shot, he was looking for a redirect, and where is it? It was Reimer who had direct traffic. Gunnarsson lost sight of it and then iced it. And we'll have a face-off back in the Leaf zone, and we'll check back in with James Duthie. Impressive milestone, and for a change, the two teams featured on HBO are both leading. The old HBO jinx in effect. We saw Bruce Boudreau and the Anaheim Ducks were in New Jersey yesterday as well, and I don't think he was missing the HBO cameras.
No, he was happy to have the spotlight shining on somebody else. He wants some compelling drama. A couple struggling teams will do it.
Here's Butker. His shot doesn't get through. Blocked by Gunnarsson. Chipchura follows. And then he is stripped of the puck, and away goes Kadri. Had some jump tonight. He'll flip it in and go after it. And Smith with a little fake there on Kadri, and then dishes the other way to Ekman Larsson. Antoine Burnett for Mikhail Botker, and now Larsson hops up. Like Johnson mentioned, the active defense. Ekman Larsson trying to get involved. Brule to the corner. Botker for Burnett. Burnett knocked down there by Gardner, and the Leafs will start back. And Riemsdyk flipping it into Kessel's corner. Connor Murphy gets there first. The kid who won a gold medal in the under-18s for the United States against Sweden with an overtime goal a couple of years back. Here's a rebound off the inboards, and Reimer comes out to make the stop against David Moss. Well, the most powerful weapon on the planet isn't a machine, it's a human. Josh Holloway stars in Intelligence. Special preview coming to CTV in January.
Talked about the D jumping up. This time it's Klesla on the least likely. Steps in to get the shot. Riley blocks it off the wall. Good read by James Reimer, who spotted the pucks quickly through traffic tonight. Pumping his defenseman out, finding the tips and the rebounds, reading it well.
Peter Holland waves, so it's Lupul against Ribeiro. Another Phoenix face-off win. The Leafs were even in the late stages of the first period in the draw, and it's been all Phoenix in that area, and that was one of the points of emphasis for Randy Carlyle. But there's been a lot of positives, too, for the coach who hit the reset button after the Florida game. Now can they hold on? Ribeiro trying to change the script of this one. Stone with a shot. Deflecting wide of the net. Klesla moves up. It'll be cycled back to Moss. Ribeiro behind the net. Centered as Jordan Schwartz gets a shift here with Moss and Ribeiro, and Raymond plays it out. Lupul goes down there, and Michael Stone will flip it back in. Coyotes changing as it's bounced down the ice to Mike Smith. And he spots Verbata at center. Leafs were changing, but they got back quickly. And here's a pass in front! And what a chance that was for Tim Kennedy, and he couldn't pull the trigger on the backhand. Kennedy left unguarded in front of the net. Rabada knocked down, and McClement will work over him and knock him down a second time for good measure. Out comes Kuhlman with Clarkson and McClement. Jay McClement across and a shot, and Dick Smith get a piece of that. What a chance by Kuhlman.
Just missed.
Of course, Kuhlman had that open net against Pittsburgh, a chance to tie it, missed that. Oh, what an opportunity that was to expand the Leaf lead. Clarkson at the end of a shift rolls it inside the line, didn't get it deep. Yandel back. Derek Morris rolling, puck fires it right on. Chip Chura off the bench. In behind is Butker. The Danish forward played it back towards Chip Chura, and Franson cut it off. Cody Franson's been all around the puck tonight. And now it's Chip Chura. He centers, and that was blocked. An outlet for Van Riemsdyk, and the Leafs head north. Van Riemsdyk, though, cut off there by Connor Murphy. Quick counter, Coyotes. It'll be Bodker on the backhand, rolling it wide as he worked on Gardner. Up comes Ekman Larsson. Franson with a hit on Vermette. Gardner off the skate, came in front. Van Riemsdyk there. Breakaway alley-oop. Kessel lost his footing, trying to field another stretch pass. It comes across. Kadri has Kessel loose in front. Smith, Snow Angel. Riley flipped it high. Mike Smith still down as Morgan Riley couldn't bury it. What a chance for the Leafs. First it was Kuhlman, and then that sequence, and a couple more. Crowd still buzzing about that. Mike Smith was on his back, down and out. Shots even at 21 apiece. There's Holland unable to catch up with it. Been a three-line game since early in the second period. Joe Gordy, the only goal scorer, but the fourth line got a minute to play in the second period. Nothing in the third. A shot. Oh, David Moss didn't miss by much. Got it again. Moss, a 20-goal scorer, as a member of Calgary. Had a chance there. John Michael Lyles at center. Got the red line, got it in, and gets a Toronto change. Approaching 9 minutes of the third period. Gunnarsson off a leg. McClement at center. And now Clarkson races after it. Knocked away from him to Rabada. In front. And off Yandel. Ahead it goes to Kennedy. He'll flip it in and go after it. Hansel also there, and now Rabada arrives on the scene. It'll be Hansel. Off the boards to the point. Morris across. That shot off a stick wide. Kennedy has his pocket picked behind the net by McClement, but got it to Hansel in front. And a defensive play by Clarkson without a stick. David Clarkson now trying to cut off the shooting lane for Yandel, who sidesteps Clarkson. And across. Derek Morris right on. And Reimer absorbs it. No rebound. And he'll hold on for a face-off. Good action here in the third.
And Phil Kessel has been blowing the zone effectively all night as he watches his own replays here. Gets in behind the defenseman. Beautiful aerial pass by Van Riemsdyk. And he just can't quite manage staying on side and grabbing it. But crazy sequence ensues afterwards. Kessel on the back door. He can't find it. Throws out in front. Riley chips it back over the net. And it is a full Snow Angel material for Mike Smith at his desperation time. Trying to keep this just a one-goal game. And we keep waiting for them to connect cleanly, and that might have been their best chance there. Phil Kessel would have just played outfield, catch the puck while staying on side, he would have the breakaway.
Since the first period, Phoenix has won 20 of 28 faceoffs, and this time the Leafs will prevail. Peter Holland in the faceoff circle wins the draw. Moss trying to work over Lupul along the boards, and Phoenix will hold the zone. Like Ribeiro sliding it through for Mikhail Bodker, centering pass, and that was cut off on a good defensive play by Holland. Lyles, and this time Mike Smith lost his stick. Somehow the stick came out of the hands of the goaltender as he went out to play it. And see if Phoenix can buy some time to get him the goal stick back. Bodker out at the line, and now an open man on the left side. Ribeiro will dump it in, and Smith has retrieved. Holland with an outlet, and now up for Raymond. Stone stood up on him, and Raymond just flips it high and off the glove for Klesla to get a lead change. Under 10 minutes to go in regulation time. It's been 1-0 for a long time on a first period goal by Troy Bodie, who I don't believe has joined the fourth line for a shift here in the third period. Clarkson knocked down in the corner. Chip Jurek gives it away. It'll be swung back in by Kuhlman. There's Clarkson. A little reverse hit from both he and Klesla. Hit the ice. Kuhlman to the point. Gardner trying to get it through, and it's knocked down by Vermette. Antoine Vermette's been one of the best Coyotes tonight. Bill skated into the lead zone. Brulé trying to get it back for Chipchura in front. There was Ekman Larsson sneaking in, and Reimer with a huge stop. Ekman Larsson backpedals, fires, and Reimer turns that aside. Number 23 dialing it up here in the third as the Coyotes press for the equalizer. And now it's played past Ekman Larsson, linked to the ice, and it's an icing call against Toronto. Mike, you warned that this might be coming.
You're the right winger, David Clarkson from Toronto Maple Leafs. You have to know Ekman Larsson is coming, Yandel is coming, and you can't let them beat you to the net. Does a little shoulder check, but he doesn't get inside him. And Ekman Larsson gets the first chance. And then you see the quick feet. You got to be in line with that puck, not the body. And again, David Clarkson not able to control Ekman Larsson as the defense continues to give Toronto fits. And Toronto sensing they got a tired group out there. 8.5 left in the game. They take their timeout to give their guys a rest.
So a dangerous chance for the tying goal. But Randy Carlyle's had a better defensive effort tonight, and the statistic shows you how the defense has eroded this year. Take a look at these numbers for the goaltenders.
That is trending the wrong direction. I don't know how much their play has dropped off. It's just it was exceptionally high early on, and they've just come back to earth. It's not like they played poorly. The team in front of them has not been good enough. And really, the NHL's a 3-goal lead. If you score 3, you're likely to win more often than not. You're not going to win hardly at all, giving up 3.5 per game.
McClement on the ice for this face-off against Hansel. From the draw, it's a winger win for Verbata and the Coyotes, and his shot knocked down. Branson up with it off the boards and out, and here's Peter Holland. Banking it in, Smith holds on to the cue, rifles it around right off the ear of Murphy, and outbreak the Coyotes. Verbata on the right flank, and it's an offside call. Down to 8:09 left in the third. That's an assist on the goal tonight, 7 points in his last 7 games. A terrific local story. Caledon native, played in the Brampton Minor hockey program and helped lead that team to a Coupe du Monde victory at the Quebec Pee Wee tournament. Bill Bathgate was a coach for 8 years, and his father, Andy Bathgate, was around that team throughout the many years of Peter's minor hockey. A great influence on his career. Andy, of course, a Hall of Famer, a Leaf who won a Stanley Cup along with George Armstrong. And Andy's message to Peter was always to keep it fun. Bill Bathgate was the coach. He was kind of the tough guy who taught Peter a lot. And a third generation of Bathgates, also a member of that team. Andy Jr., a member of that Brampton Minor hockey team. And so from one generation of Leafs now to another with Peter Holland, a member of Andy Bathgate's old team.
Peter Holland enjoying life here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. As you watch him play, the more you watch him play, the more you can appreciate the little things he does to be successful out there. He doesn't overwhelm you, size or his speed or his strength, but he's always in the right spot. He understands how to read the play and makes life easy for his wingers, which you grow to appreciate as one of them.
Had a chance to watch him a lot. Junior, good offensive player. Looks like he's really dialed into being a better defensive player. And that has certainly helped him gained the confidence of Randy Carlyle the last few weeks. Bodker trying to center. James Van Riemsdyk will flip it out, and Kessel streaks after it again. He's trying to spring number 81 tonight. Look at Smith way out of the net. Up off the glass, and now back in the zone where the Coyotes will try and get organized. There's Kadri with the steal. Now Kessel, and Van Riemsdyk, a high shot. Comes down for Kadri. Kessel behind the net. Trying to quickly come out in front, and now working towards the slot. Plays it back in behind for Van Riemsdyk. He'll swoop in front. Paddle down, stopped by Smith. Ribeiro with a flying back pass that finds Morris, and back to Ribeiro. The crafty Ribeiro's in. Works around behind the net. And plays it back to the point. And he swung around, and Connor Murphy's in. Assists in his last 3. Trying to strip the tying goal here with under 7 minutes to go, but the Leafs are out with Mason Raymond. Knocked down there by Brule. And they're going to call it a hand pass. We'll get a face-off, 6:31 to go, and let's check back in with James.
Mike Ribeiro just showed you on the one-on-one Cody Franson that you can beat guys without speed. He is slippery offensively. Doesn't ever do it by going fast, just by going from slow to slower.
9 points in his last 8 coming into this game. He's been as dangerous a forward as the Coyotes have had tonight. 25-22, shots favor Phoenix. Scoreboard favors Toronto. Chipchura in the corner. Former captain of a World Junior gold medal team, 2016. Here's Chipchura trying to swing it in front, and Lyle stays with him. Now it's Vermette. Watched by Riley. Antoine Vermette centers, and Brule whipped it wide. Boy, he had a good chance there on a sharp setup by Vermette. Allen will drop it off. Defer to Gunnarsson. Carl Gunnarsson heads out. That'll be swung into the Phoenix zone. Leafs want to change. 5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Still a 1-goal Toronto lead. Gunnarsson under duress. It comes across, but not out. Now Hansel reaching for it. Bravada shot it wide. Radim Bravada trying to pump a slump. Cut off in behind the net by Gunnarsson. Double teamed by the Coyotes. Hansel up with it. Bravada helps out. Swings it across, and now Klesla on the far side. In behind the net, Kennedy jostled. It's a shot, scores! Martin Hansel with the wingspan. Hooks it in past Reimer, and the game is tied with under 5 minutes to go.
Coyotes been playing in the offensive zone for the better part of the last half of this game and finally get one. Gunnarsson has a chance here to make a play up the ice, turns it over, Jamie Clement on the wall. He can't get it out, and the Maple Leafs never recover. And it's 30-40 seconds later that finally Martin Hansel with a wraparound for enough on his back. And he just finds a way to get it through James Reimer on a puck that Reimer has to stop to tie the game.
6'6", 230 pounds. That big reach comes in handy as Hansel has his first goal and point in 8 games for the Coyotes. It couldn't have come at a better time. 15:08, the time of the equalizer. A lead that the Leafs established with under 5 minutes to go in the first period. Stood up a long time, but no longer. Now they'll try and respond. And Riemsdyk right on, and Smith has that and holds on. So Hansel has an answer for Phoenix.
See the goal scorer for the Phoenix Coyotes. Martin Hansel breaks out of a long slump at a timely moment for the Coyotes. Tim Kennedy lets it slide on by, realizing that he's got Hansel behind him. And it's a quick wrap, but James Reimer's got to flare that right leg out a little bit. Don't be so tucked in the middle of the net, because that shouldn't be able to beat you cleanly to the far post. And he's played very well tonight's game, but missed that one on Hansel.
26 shot beats him, a lead that the Leafs enjoyed for almost 40 minutes is gone. Two teams both trying to bump two-game losing streaks.
4.5 minutes left here. Both teams realizing out of conference opponent, winning in regulation doesn't matter at all. Make sure to get the 1 point. Worry about the second one once you get to overtime.
Face-off win by Kadri. It's played wide of the net. Coyotes off the boards and out. Off the skate of Gardner, and Vermette follows up. Wires that shot high of the net. In comes Chip Jura. He's bumped by Kadri, and Franson will take over. Franson off the glass and out. Van Riemsdyk's on it. Drops it. Kadri in for Kessel. What a stop! Big stop by Mike Smith on a dangerous rush attack by the Leafs top line.
Oh, what a save, what a play. It's Mike Smith with a better save.
It's Franson back in, bouncing it in. All three Leafs in on that play, and Mike Smith had the answer. That's the best stop of the night and one of the best of the year. Clarkson at center lost his footing. Yandel will slow it down. Morris rink wide on the tape for Kennedy, and he'll send it in. Williman couldn't come up with it. Morris fires, and a stop by Reimer. Big rebound. Coyotes get it. Play it back in behind the net to Gunnarsson. David Clarkson taken to the boards by Verbata. Kennedy trying to dig it out. From the scrum, Phoenix has got it. Yandel back. Sent wide of the net. Hopping up his zone. Hansel couldn't reach it. Verbata after it against Guliman. Verbata helped out by Hansel. Sent across for Stone. His shot. Traffic in front. Reimer made the save with Kennedy on the doorstep. And now it's one-headed out by Gunnarsson, who was punished on the play by Hansel. Back in. Coyotes pressing the attack with Bottcher. McClement taken down behind the net. Canuck, an outlet, and a good play by Kuhlman to Lupel. Trying to barge through. Joffrey Lupel after it, and young Connor Murphy is there. It'll be kept in at the point. Riley bouncing it through. Mason Raymond's got it. Spins, shoots, and Lupel looks for it at the side of the net, taken away by Ribeiro. Plays it ahead into the skates of Bottcher, and now Bottcher into the zone. Connor Murphy right on. And James Reimer will hold on with under 2 minutes to go.
Game's only tied right now because Phil Kessel wants to see his highlight there. Missed opportunity he had. What a passing play it was. Strange bounce here, bites. Along Van Riemsdyk to grab it, pulls it over to Kadri, takes the backhand, and Kessel caught a little bit behind him, so he can't raise it as if it was in front of him. He's just got to sweep it to the open corner. And Mike Smith with a perfect movement taken away, and you can see Phil Kessel's reaction, knowing that the game was on his stick right where he wants it, but he was just beat by a better save.
That's the guy we saw in that run to the conference final a couple of years back. Mike Smith at his best. Outdueled by Carey Price a couple of nights ago. Beat Roberto Luongo in a shootout game earlier this year in Phoenix in head-to-head matchups against the guys that he's in a head-to-head battle to win an Olympic job with, at least among the leading candidates. There's a pass up for Moss, and inside the line, Jake Gardner takes over. Who's going to be the hero tonight? Tie game, late stages of regulation time in Toronto. Just over a minute left, and Phaneuf cuts off a pass and moves back in. The captain in deep, but Yandel's got it. Final minute. Nearly a turnover there, but Yandel gets it back. Out comes Yandel. into Toronto ice. New shot. And Reimer gets a piece of that. Jalen Clement off the boards to the line. And it does come out as Van Riemsdyk makes sure. Clement clubs it down. He gets it in. Smith is out. And sends it ahead for the goal scorer, Hansel. Urbata dumping it in wide of the net, and Hansel's on it first. Clock training here in the third period. Looks like we're headed to overtime. Gardner stretches off Clarkson right down, and there's Smith dispatching it to Murphy, and the Hansel goal will force an overtime period here in Toronto tonight. Nothing decided yet. Shots 30 to 25. And our performer of the game brought to you by GMC Sierra.
In a game that didn't have too much offense, it was Cody Franzen who really helped the Leafs get their lead and protect their lead with some good plays with the puck. Creative, jumping up, being aggressive, showing that big shot a couple times, and has been a positive influence on the Toronto Maple Leafs offensive game, but in his own end as well. Adding in the assist on the one goal they scored, and you see it's been a very clean night for Cody Franzen. Exactly the kind of night they want to see out of him. Almost 20 minutes, 3 blocks to 1 assist, and an all-around good game.
10 bell stopped there by Mike Smith. Troy Bodie, the goal scorer, we have not seen from. Some people ask about that, Mike. You get a big goal from a fourth line early, and then you just don't see him for 2 periods.
We had some penalties in the second period, some 4-on-4 hockey situations he won't play in, and then you start thinking to the coach, we got a line who's been sitting there for 30, 45 minutes, an hour real time, and can you expect them to jump in a very tight game, a fast-paced game? Bench gets shortened very quickly, and even though the fourth line was able to score a goal, they saw their ice time cut way back.
NHL on TS Hit Overtime, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Again, both teams trying to end 2-game losing streaks. The Leafs now with 3 regulation wins in 23. But they won't quibble about a win in extra time tonight. 4 skaters aside for 5 minutes or less. Antoine Vermette with the drag and drops, and that's broken up by Kadri. And now Cranston nearly sent away Kessel again. How many breakaway passes have just missed to 81 tonight?
7 or 8 times he's found himself just about behind the Coyotes defenseman. He haven't quite connected cleanly.
Hansel now drops it in, slowed up by Clement. Gardner will leave it for the captain behind the net. And Kessel will play it back as they work it out deliberately. There's Kadri checked at the line. Connor Murphy back in. Here's the young defenseman wiring it to the rebound, is knocked away by Gardner. Now Toronto to the attack. A minute in, and it's still Kadri. Shot wide. Tried to go stiff side on Smith. The Leafs need a change. And Hansel wants 1-2. Over a minute to start. 4-on-4. Ekman Larsson drops it in. Here's Kennedy, nifty move, backhand. Stopped by Reimer. And the rebound, Ribeiro nearly stole. Holland will get it out. And Ribeiro, without really 2 hands on the stick, just kicked it back to his defense partner. Kennedy overskates it and nearly lost it. Could have been dangerous. Now they're in the right direction, but Ekman Larsson checked by Holland. Riley up as Phoenix was changing. Peter Holland over the line. Knocked away from him, it's a breakaway. Mike Ribeiro, and Lyle's coming back. And Morgan Riley too. Boy, did they close in a hurry. And Riley heads the other way. Morgan Riley and Smith just got enough of that. nearly leaked through. Now it opens up, and back come the Coyotes. It is Burnett, cross. That pass doesn't work, but Burnett will get it back. Hit by Riley in the corner. Burnett tries to come out in front. Riley is dumped. Bodker's got it. It'll be Yandel nearly tipped at the side of the net. Burnett had a chop at it. Antoine Burnett to the point. Keith Yandel well wide. Over halfway through the overtime. Gunnarsson watching Burnett. Coyotes changing in behind him. There's Ekman Larsson in deep. Gunnarsson watching him carefully. Riley trying to take it away from Burnett, but Ekman Larsson's got it backhand. Stopped by Reimer. Ekman Larsson leans on Riley. Got it again. Back to Murphy. His shot just went wide. Burnett missed the tip in front. And now the Leafs get control. Toronto 2-1 in overtime. Coyotes 1-3 in the 5-minute overtime period this year. Raymond in. That pass cut off. And now another quick counter for Hansel. He'll drop it. Rabada's got it. Yandel cheating up. Rabada plays it into the corner. A battle between the big men. Phaneuf wins it ahead of Hansel. And Phaneuf starts back. The captain over the line. Can't get a shot away on the backhand. In deep, he'll cycle it to Van Riemsdyk. Raymond in front. Smith picks it and then finds it in the blue paint and holds it.
Everyone on both benches trying to catch their breath. It's been incredible pace back and forth. Mike Romero's got a chance here, but he's standing still, and he's not as fast as John Michael Isles or Morgan Riley. They both catch him, take it away, and Riley goes right the other end and slips this one underneath the arm of Mike Smith and out the back door. This is going back and forth here for 4 straight minutes in overtime.
Mike from Kingston's had family and friends in Montreal here tonight, and he says the most will be in Ottawa, and he's put on a good show tonight for them. 26 days for Smith, 32 at the other end for James Reimer. Good goaltending battle tonight. And 1 minute left in overtime. Burnett shot, kicked out, Moss tied up. Couldn't reach the rebound. And now Kessel will wind up. The stretch passes haven't worked. Maybe he'll go coast to coast. Kessel in, and he missed stick side. Didn't miss by much. Kadri up with it. Checked there by Ekman Larsson. Ekman Larsson hands it off, and now Bodker will wind up. Mikhail Bodker passing off. Rapiro sidestep. Centers. Bodker. Oh, that one almost rolled through. And gloved by Reimer in the crease.
Bodker fighting for position in front. Mike Romero puts it right on his tape. Another example of the change of pace game. Bodker drives everyone back, gets it to Romero, who's got Gardner spinning like a top. And Bodker does a nice job keeping his stick loose and just getting it down inside Phaneuf off his skate, and Reimer has to make a pad save.
Mike Ribeiro 11 and 6 in the face-off circle tonight, but well, he does end up having a shot at that one. Probably ruled a lead point as McClement plays it inside the line with 15 seconds left before we go to a shootout. Chopped in by Yandel, left down by Phaneuf. And the fans want a long shot, but we'll wait for a shootout now. 65 minutes in the books, and it remains 1-1. Good goaltending duel. Troy Bodie in the first, Hansel in the third, and we'll decide it in a shootout tonight in Toronto. Goaltenders have been in the spotlight tonight. That continues. You see James Reimer's record. Both teams this season are 4-2 in shootouts. Battling for an extra point tonight. A much-needed extra point for both teams.
And this is where the scouting reports would come in handy, because these two teams don't play each other very often. they don't see these goalies very often, so it is not second nature what to expect here in the shootout. So they'll be referencing the team-generated scouting reports that they provide.
James Van Riemsdyk, Mason Raymond, Joffrey Lupul for Toronto, Mikhail Bottker, Radim Verbata, Antoine Vermette. The first three shooters for Phoenix.
You see Bernier there just talking to Van Riemsdyk, maybe adding some of that Western Conference knowledge to him before he goes against Mike Smith.
JVR 3 for 3 on the year in the shootout. Smith out quickly, and do they slide it through? Where is it? And Smith trying to drag it out of there.
He's not letting them see it.
And will obviously go upstairs, but will they get a look? Pretty crafty stuff.
Well, they didn't signal a goal on the ice, even though very clearly it's under his pads and the pads are in the net. Tries to go slip it 5-hole, and I don't know where it could be if it's not in the net. But he knows what's going on. He's not letting anyone see it until he sweeps it out. As those legs turn sideways, shoves himself out a little bit,
and then the
forcing the replay.
Forward.
Yeah. And you know both referees want to see it there, but he's not going to let him take us. But again, it's one of those ones, the call on the ice, I didn't see a goal signaled.
Well, the fans are certainly convinced it's in, but what are they going to say after that video review?
It was in. It's not whether it was, it's whether they can prove it is.
Right.
It's on his left pad, it's under his right pad, because his left pad's up in the air, so it's under his right pad. But I don't see a point for a goal. But it's got to be in.
And Van Riemsdyk makes the call.
He wants to show. That's a lot of pressure right now. As the most popular place in the rink right now is my monitors here. As the debate continues between the benches as to whether it was in or not.
So Rob Martell's on the headset.
The Coyotes bench keeps saying you can't see it. Can't be a goal.
Paul Dvorsky talking it over with Keith Yandel.
It's a nice little move here. Opens him up, slides it 5-hole. Right there, off his right pad, off his left pad.
And then closes it down. If nobody can see the puck, can it be a goal?
It's a fraction more forward. You see it there pinned underneath his right pad. Is it on the line? Is it not? Just can't see it. If you can spot a puck in that massive pads, then you're better than me. I can't see a thing.
Watched the officials, and it didn't seem as if there was a call on the ice.
And here we go.
Somebody's going to be very upset after this call.
Especially if it's Toronto, no goal.
The call on the ice stands. It's a good goal.
So he's 4 for 4, and it's advantage Toronto.
Took a while. Got to be the right call, though, even if it was hard to see. As Dave Tippett's getting an explanation here as to how the call was made.
Well, this was predictable. No matter what the call was, one bench was going to be livid.
Sometimes common sense has to rule here, and you can't complain too much of. It hits his left pad, then gets to his right pad. And
I know what you're saying, Mike, but the old adage is you have to see the entire puck over the line.
Yeah.
I guess the referees felt they saw enough.
If it's on, Mike Smith's coming over to the bench now, too. He also wants to hear. He's saying it's the wrong call, heading back to the net.
But it is the official call. So Mikhail Bottker up first for Phoenix. And he'll tie it.
Pretty.
There wasn't any doubt about that.
No, he set him up like he was going to go backhand, forehand, shot, low blocker. And Reimer bid on it Seen him do it several times. Backhand, forehand, and then he just pulls it back. Open side of the net. Clean finish.
Here's Mason Raymond. Mike Smith still upset as he continues to discuss the goal by Van Riemsdyk with Paul Dvorsky, and is that the right frame of mind here?
Focus on the next shot coming. That's gone.
Mason Raymond, and Smith answers out.
Mason Raymond swings out to his forehand side. Mike Smith seen enough highlight reels out in Vancouver. He knows the potential for the spinorama. Lays the fake poke check out there. And Raymond, if he was thinking about it, went away from it, trying to shoot it 5 holes.
Well, here is Verbatim, 9 goals on the year. Has not scored in 6, but always dangerous in these situations. James Reimer stuck with him and makes the save.
That has been his go-to move for the better part of 5 years. Nothing fancy about it, just tries to out-quick the goalie. Pull to the backhand and get it upstairs to Reimer. Beat him to the spot. Getting that blocker out and take it away.
Even headed to the 3rd round of the shootout, and Joffrey Lupul, 1 for 1 on the year. Lupul with the go-ahead goal, and now Vermette has to score.
That is not an easy shot. The pump fake's okay, but to get this one all the way back upstairs is difficult, and Lupul makes no mistake, posted in.
Antoine Vermette has 2 game-deciding shootout goals. Needs a game extender. He does it, James Reimer, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have won it in a shootout. Saved for Reimer. 2 more in the shootout, and Joffrey Lupul has the shootout winner. Well, the goalie who let his team have it after their weak performance against Florida backstops a rebound performance for the Maple Leafs. Wasn't easy, Mike, but this Leaf team bounces back with a good defensive performance. Troy Bodie scored. Hansel forced the extra time. And then we went to a shootout, and Joffrey Lupul decides it. Toronto bumps a 2-game losing streak, a 2-1 win, as we say so long from the ACC.